One, two, three. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Even though I'm a speaker, I'm the one that's honored to be here. This is the 4th year I've been invited, and it's an incredible event for the community and for the speakers. They told me today to introduce myself. My name is Dr. William Long, and I'm actually from this area. I grew up in Inglewood, California. My mother raised 5 kids after my father passed, and she sent us to private schools. I went to Sarah High in Gardena. That's when we became good at sports, around the time my class came in. And then I've been here all my life. What I want to talk about is something that affects every single person if you live long enough. Arthritis. So I'm only going to hit about 3 points, and then hopefully you'll be able to follow up and get all your questions answered. Our practice is the Computer Surgery Institute. And so even if I don't bring handouts and flyers, if you look up my name, Dr. Long, William Long, or Computer Surgery Institute, you can go on a website and learn things that I could never have time to teach you today. So today I want to just talk about modern joint replacement and tell you what's important. The first thing is arthritis affects every single person if you live long enough. If you do autopsy on anyone over 75 and you look at every joint, you're going to find arthritis, even in people who don't hurt. So arthritis means that the cartilage, the coating on the end of the joint, starts to break down. For any reason, if you lose that cartilage, you have arthritis. If bacteria eat the cartilage, it's called septic arthritis. If you have gout, little crystals form in the joint, they grind up the cartilage. It's a metabolic disease, but you lose the cartilage, you have arthritis. If you fall, if you're a football player, you continue to scratch up the cartilage when you get injured, that's arthritis. But the most common thing to understand for a patient, if the joint is swollen and hurts and doesn't move, then you know you have arthritis pretty much. That's how you know that you probably have arthritis. Painful, stiff joint. Now, joint replacement is where you replace the surface with an artificial surface. So you have to know about it, because if all of you live long enough and get arthritis, there may come a time that you decide it's time for surgery. But one thing you should know, the most important thing, no one should ever decide for you when it's time for surgery. It should always be a personal choice, and you should be sure. And here's how you know. There are only 2 reasons for you to say that you want a knee replacement or a hip replacement. Only 2. And they're very personal. No one can take it away from you. The first reason is pain. And what could be more personal than pain? Nothing's more personal than pain. If you say, I hurt so much, I can't tolerate this another day, no one should tell you that you don't. If you have a bad x-ray that shows arthritis, but you're moving the knee and you're getting along and you're doing everything you want, then no one should tell you you need a knee replacement or a hip replacement. You shouldn't have a surgery for pain unless you're the one that says, I decided that I want this surgery because it's going to take away the pain. So that's the first reason for the operation. You don't have to go into the office scared that the doctor's going to sentence you to a joint replacement. It's something that you decide when you have enough information. The second reason is a little trickier. Disability. Disability is personal. 2 people can have the same arthritis, and one thinks they're disabled and the other one is totally happy with their life. For example, it's football season. Some people have bad knees, bad hips, but as long as they're watching football, they have their beer and they're sitting on the couch, they say, I don't have a problem. I'm not disabled. I'm doing everything I want to do. I can walk to the refrigerator, I can get my beer, and I'm good. So, I shouldn't tell that person they need a knee replacement. I might tell them, you need to get that hip fixed. You're gaining weight. It's not good for your heart. You're not doing things with your family. But if they say they're happy, they decide, no, it's not time for surgery. Disability is personal. But there could be another person who can't go on a date with their husband. They can't walk up the street with their grandkids. They can't work and make the money they want to make. And they say, I'm disabled. And if you could fix this so I can do those things, I'll have surgery. That's how it becomes a personal decision. So that's the number one thing. You go to the doctor's office armed with power that no one's going to tell you that you have to have surgery. You're going to decide. So once you decide it is time for surgery, that's when we get involved. We mostly do the operative treatment. And you should know about a couple of things. Minimally invasive. No one wants a giant incision if they can have a small one. No one wants to lose a lot of blood if they don't have to lose any blood. Minimally invasive is important. It used to be a thing, a novelty, but if you do your research, there are doctors, that's the only way we do it. It's the only way. There's no big incision, there's no big bloody long surgery. Find out what minimally invasive is, ask about it. There's a second thing that you need to know about, computers, computer navigation and robotics. That means while we're operating on your hip or knee, we can look up and we can see every implant. Not only can we see the hip, not only can we see the knee, we can see the instruments, we can see the implants, and we can watch them dance with each other as we put them into your body. We watch them interact, and we put them exactly where we said we're going to put them. Without a computer, you get close. And he who has the most gray hair and done the most operations gets it right the most times. What if you have an HMO and you go where you're told to go for that surgery? You want the rookie to put it in right too, not just the gray-haired veteran. So, find out if they're using computers. Wouldn't you like to know that if a perfect alignment is center hip, center knee, center ankle in a straight line, that you're going to come out of the room and they did that? Not just good enough. The last thing, and I'll close, is you should know about the anesthesia. Nothing's more dangerous during hip or knee replacement than the anesthetic. It means you either breathe or you don't breathe. It means you wake up in pain or you wake up and you're ready to walk. The anesthesia determines that. It means you have a tube in your throat or just a mask on your face. It can mean that you're breathing a gas that soaks into your tissues, affects your brain, and makes it so you'll never walk that day of surgery because it keeps coming out of your fatty tissues, out of your breath, affecting you. Why should you do that when you can have a medication that within minutes of stopping the drip, your mind is clear? So the type of anesthesia matters. Minimally invasive surgery, computer navigation, and rapid recovery anesthesia. And with that, thank you for your time.
I want to ask Dr. Long a question. Dr. Long, can you explain to me the difference between osteoporosis and osteopenia?
Yes. That's the vocabulary, but we always trick the new students with that one. Osteoporosis is a bone disease where your bone, the quality of the bone isn't right. You're supposed to, if you watch how they build a freeway, there's the steel girders that go up first, and that's the collagen of the bone. It can look like bones made up of two different things. First there's collagen frame, then the calcium comes in, and that's when they pour the concrete on the steel frame of the freeway. So you're supposed to have a certain amount of metal and a certain amount of calcium in a bone. If you have the wrong mix, osteoporosis. You can have there are three different terms. Number one, osteoporosis, you have the right mix, but you have the wrong volume of bone. It's not enough bone, not enough of anything. That's osteoporosis. People think you can catch it on an x-ray, and because we always get x-rays, but really you have to lose almost a third of the normal bone mass before you can look at the x-ray and see it. So for that, the best study are the bone density studies. The primary care doctors do a lot of that. Osteomalacia is when you have a lot of calcium, but you don't have the collagen portion. It's a bad mix, a bad batch of cement. So osteoporosis is just not enough of everything. The bone's too thin, too light, just not enough. Osteomalacia is a poor quality. And then there's one more term. If we just look at the x-ray and the bone looks really thin, we call it osteopenia, but that's a term that only refers to we're looking at the x-ray and we say, oh, the bone looks weak. The last thing is people of color, the darker races, almost don't get osteoporosis. The bone quality lasts much longer, but you can't really go by color. Our genes are so mixed up now. In general, yes, it's true. We came over and the Africans looked like Africans and Europeans, but now everybody's brown and mixed. So you can't just say that all blacks won't get osteoporosis, but in general, Northern Europeans are farther away from the equator, if your roots are there, very brittle bones. You can get fracture rates of almost 30% if you're in your late 80s or 90s. But African Americans, people that are born closer to the equator, fractures, all those things are less common. But you still have to know about it. Because with age, we all lose bone mass. But if you started off with less and you get those diseases, then it can really cause fractures, and that's a disaster.
My question for you also, Dr. Lowe. I received some information from UCLA to say that they were doing a research on arthritis of the knees, and it was a technique where they were blocking off the blood vessels that cause the inflammation. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, there are a few different things people are doing. No one really wants to have surgery, so what if you could make the pain go away even if the cartilage is gone? So there have been a few different things people are trying. Some are using ultrasound to find little nerves around the knee and then freeze the nerve. So you still have arthritis, but it doesn't hurt. There's someone in our office actually doing that work. And you know, you have to be a little careful about that. What if you feel better, but you're grinding your knee to death? But there may be a role where you can take people that don't need surgery, or you can keep them going for a while safely without doing surgery. So another way of doing it is you find little blood vessels in a certain area that you can either stimulate to get more blood flow, or do something to modify them and try to change the way you feel, the way the knee feels. But there is no real cure once you've lost the cartilage. Just think of it as a tooth. You can scrape through a tooth till you get to the nerve, and it's going to hurt. And so if you put a filling or a crown in, the pain goes away. But you don't, if you use Sensodyne toothpaste, but you leave the cavity and you leave the crack, you might take the pain away, but the problem's still there. So that's the way you look at these other modalities. You have to know what are they really doing to you, and what's the long-term benefit. Spinal stenosis, about 80% of all Americans will go to the doctor for low back pain in their lifetime. Think of the brain, and then it turns into a big cord that goes down your back, and at the very end of your spine breaks into nerves. So you have this brain, spinal cord, and then nerves. Where the pelvis meets the spine is where all the trouble happens. All the junctions where things wear out. And things I talked about calcium builds up, and those nerves that are trying to get out and go down into the legs and everywhere else, they start to get squeezed. And so you'll have low back pain and a heavy feeling in the legs. One of the signs is people who go to the grocery store, they'll feel better. It kind of opens up that area when you lean forward. So that's one of the things. You'll feel better.
Look at it, look.
Most of the time, you don't need surgery. So 80% of people get it, but 80% of them, once they get diagnosed, they don't need surgery. But you have to be careful with spine. You have to really choose your spine surgeons carefully. Listen to patients, listen to nurses. You can make a lot of money operating on a spine, but sometimes you don't need surgery. And most of the time you don't. The last one is fibromyalgia. It's a term, surgeons that operate a lot, it's almost a red flag because it means the person hurts. This is my simple definition. The person hurts in some part of their body, their musculoskeletal system, and every single test is negative. There is no positive test. There's nothing that proves there's something. So you just believe them. You just tell them, I believe you hurt. And you can't name it, it's just a nerve, it's just the muscle, what's happening with the nerve. There's not a real way to prove it, but it's a common diagnosis. So orthopedic surgeons tend to blow it off because there's nothing to fix, nothing to operate on. A lot of that's dealt with by the primary care doctors. Sometimes you go to a chiropractor. Sometimes they won't hurt you, they won't poison you, but they'll work with you. So fibromyalgia is common, but it's more, it's not something that's going to kill you. You find out how to treat the patient and let them live with it and function with it and try to do the least amount of damage. So one is purely mechanical, there's something squeezing your nerves. The other, you can't really detect on any study, but there's still, if the person's suffering, you have to deal with both of them.
Dr. Long, stand right there. This is our final question.
Dr. Long, I have severe back problems, but my thing is, you're hearing so much about stem cell regeneration these days. What's your take on that, and if it's any truth in it, or has anyone been cured by it?
No, this is very important. Very sensitive. Some of my richest friends, that's what they do. One of them does Shaquille O'Neal. He injects them. And he gave a lecture, and he started with how many billions of dollars are made by stem cells in private practice today. And he finished the lecture with, I hope it's never FDA approved, because as long as it's not FDA approved, I can charge whatever I want. So, the simplest way of explaining it to me is as long as you sign that paper that says, as long as you sign a paper that says you were told that there may be no benefit at all and it's experimental, as long as you sign that, the doctor can take cells from you, mix it, and inject it back into you and charge whatever they want. So, there's a conflict. It was supposed to be so that we would do real research. I believe they help in certain conditions. We don't know for sure. You know, before we operate on you, we usually have to know for sure that that operation has a track record of working. And what is the definition of it working? With stem cells now, a lot of it is, they injected my rotator cuff and I feel better. So it's not the same as you inject it into a knee and the cartilage comes back. So one day we may find that you're going to be able to cure things by taking different cells, spinning them and injecting them back. We may find that. But today I can tell you we don't have proof of exactly which cells work and when they work, so you're taking a chance. And almost everyone with a lot of money will try it before they go for a hip or knee replacement. So that's why there's a big market. But I worry about the mothers and the teachers and people that don't have a lot of money giving up their hard-earned cash for something that they don't know if it's going to work. So if you're going to do it, again, you arm yourself. You have to make your own decision if you're going to do it or not. But when you know it's coming out of your wallet, you're going to do your research.
Could the doctors please stand? I want to present you with something.